then we should theoretically be radio 241 for an extended centre line. There we go. And in terms of our arrival, we've already got that in, and we've already got our approach in as well. In terms of a go around, that looks like it's going to be following a prescribed route. So climb, runway heading to 800 feet, then turn right, not before 2 IBA, max 185 knots onto 172 degrees to intercept and follow radial 121 IBA to 7 DME IBA. Then right to 9 DME arc IBA to cross radial 150 IBA out of the way 2,500 feet. Then turn left to intercept and follow radial 163 IBA, climbing to 3,000 feet. Then as directed. So initially it's going to be 2,500 feet for go around altitude. It's going to take us off out here and then as directed. So essentially what we'll probably do is climb to 2,500 feet and just take ourselves, vector ourselves back in for a sort of 13 DME arc to be at Osnock at 3,000. Okay, so we'll climb up to 3,000, we'll set that. I just want to double check our landing calculations. We're vacating right at the end of the runway. We're going to go flaps full with max reversers and low auto brakes to try and keep all those temperatures down. Just let them do their work. And yeah, we should be alright. Slight crosswind, mostly a headwind. We're all good. So I'm going to descend about 20 miles early just to make sure. Sorry, this will be 10 nautical miles earlier, just because we've got a tailwind. It's going to take us a little bit longer to slow down. So we'll start that descent now. Check all that this is good, which it is. Weather is looking pretty good. And our constraints are gonna be fine. Our constraints are going to be flight level 100 or above at Varret and above 3,000. Although we're taking the Ferry 3 Victor. So yeah, we can descend as low as 3,000 and then above 3,000, above 3,000, above 3,000 and demo. So we descend now straight down to 7,000 and then let it do it in its managed. We'll just check the QNH levels by ATC. Transition level 6,000 fine. So once we go down below 7, we'll go to QNH 1014. Now that we are descending, we'll set that to 1014 on the standby instrument. It's looking bright up here. about 25 minutes to land. I don't really think there's any shortcuts we can take because it's basically taking us away from overflying land. After Lapso we could avoid all of the sort of twisty turnies. If we go and have a look at this arrival chart, we can probably avoid all of this and fly direct to India Bravo 930 at above flight level, between flight level 65 or 065 and 3,000 feet. So we'll descend to 6,500 and we'll do a direct to India Bravo 930 for a left turn straight into Demev, and then we'll establish on the ILS once we're on the final. So it's that land essentially that we are trying to avoid overflying. It's land that's all underneath us. If we went directly to India Bravo 930, we'd kind of be cutting across this to get there, across this land. So we'll let ourselves head down this airway for a little bit longer before doing so. And that avoids any of the speed constraints as well. So essentially we're somewhat vectoring ourselves in, taking a slight shortcut. So there goes our nice little shortcut. There's, as you can see, just so many constraints on there that really busies up the view when you're actually trying to see what routing you take. You can see the various decel points, but when you add the constraints with the altitudes and the speeds, it just gets really messy. That's because I've also selected the wrong one. It's India Bravo 930 that we want. That's the shortcut that we're after. Obviously we're going to be a little bit high now, just because we're not going to lose all of that. Well, we'd have lost a lot of altitude doing all the twisty turnies. We've taken a bit of a direct too, so we're going to be a little bit high now. 2,000 feet, we'll scrub that off. So it'd be a little bit bumpy and a bit uncomfortable descending at sort of 4,000 feet per minute. Probably feel like all of a sudden you're plummeting out the sky. Just shy of just over 15 minutes to land, but as you can see we've knocked that 2,000 feet down pretty quick. So speed brakes away and we'll continue, manage speed, manage descent, let the aircraft do things as economically as possible. Pop the seatbelt signs on probably around the 15,000 feet mark. We'll have that decel to 210 knots, which might be a little bit of a struggle to slow down for with this tailwind. So it might be that there is some use of the speed brakes involved. And then obviously our go around is in there. Company message, no doubt, about the delays. Yeah, there we go. You'll see us creeping in here instead of doing this entire route. We're just going straight to the waypoint before the initial approach fix. Cabin altitude's down nicely, 3,300 feet. Stop the chrono now, because as soon as we go to reverse idle we can start the chrono, and then that will start the engine cool down time. we'll go ahead here now, and just over the 10 minutes to land. Pop the seatbelt signs on. We'll also get the announcement to the passengers. Probably would have helped if that was selected, hey? But we've been all good with the weather, really. We'll have a quick look on VATSIM radar. I can't see anything on TCAS at the moment, but as I thought, it might be that there are some people close to Ibiza today. Let's just have a look on the old radar. Yeah.
The captain is now switched on the fasten seatbelt sign as we will shortly be landing. Please now return to your seat and make sure that all of your personal belongings are safely put away in the overhead lockers or under the seat in front of you. Customers sitting in the front row seat or an emergency exit row should place all items in the overhead lockers, leaving the floor area around your seat completely clear.
505.
Please check that your table is folded away, your seat is in the landing position with the armrest down, and your seatbelt is securely fastened. If you're seated by a window and have lowered the blind, please return this to the open position for landing. You may continue to use handheld electronic devices for landing. These must be held securely or placed into a pocket. Larger items, including laptops, must now be switched off and stowed away safely. Please also take a moment to remind yourself of your nearest exit and
when variable between 060 and 140, visibility 10 kilometers or more, few clouds at 2500, temperature 27, dew point 22, QNH 1014, transition level 70. This was Ibiza Airport 8 is information Bravo. Advise on initial contact, you have information, Bravo.
Cool, all good. Landing system on.
This is Ibiza Airport 8 is information Bravo. At time 1730 Zulu. Depart.
And then we'll go 118505. So we've got one on the ground that looks like they'll be departing shortly. And I can't see any other threats sort of within the immediate vicinity for anybody that's going to Ibiza. So there's no necessary unicoms in relation to intercepting the glide slope or anything like that. But yeah, 3 departures. Looks like 3 arrivals, but no one close to us at the moment, which is the main thing. Okay, so we're coming in now. We're going to start getting some decels, which might require a little bit of a speed brake just to get our speeds down to 210 knots. So I'm going to preemptively employ, or deploy rather, some speed brake, and we are going to load up our finals chart here just so that we've got all of that in front of us. We'll descend down now to so no, plus 3,000, so we can go down to 3,000. That we will do. Go down to 3,000, and we're not yet picking up the ILS signals just yet. You can obviously see Ibiza there in the distance. So we're just hovering around that managed speed area. There we go. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to activate the approach phase now, because we'll pick up that localizer very shortly, and we're also going to go to the QNH of 1014. Cross-checked over there. We're coming down to that 210 knots now, so we are going to leave a speed brake out till there just to make sure that we do meet that constraint and that we're configured relatively early, because once we're it's a little bit heavier aircraft, just make sure everything's done nice and soon. So speed brakes can go away, we're at our 210 knots. It's enabled the approach phase, which we've obviously done there. down here, so it's going to aim for minimum approach speed, which we don't necessarily need, but we can abide by the 210. It's just going to bump us up a little bit. 23 miles, turning final. There we go.
Cabin crew, seats for landing.
There we go, okie dokie. So we'll flick over to tower now. Ibiza Tower, Speedbird 9515, runway 06, established 21 DME.
Speedbird 9515, hello Ibiza, continue approach, runway 06, wind 090 degrees 6 knots.
06, was that just a wind check or clear to land? Apologies.
Speedbird 9515, yeah, continue approach, runway 06.
November Kilo, on localizing runway 06.
Easy 590, Easy 590, November Kilo, wind 090 degrees 6 knots, runway 06, clear to land.
Clear to land, runway 06, easy 59, November Kilo.
Speedbird 9515, did you hear my last transmission?
No, apologies, you were blocked by the easy call sign. I assume continue approach, runway 06.
Speedbird 9515, yeah, correct. Continue approach, runway 06, wind is 090 degrees 6 knots.
Copy wind, Speedbird 9515, thank you. Okie dokie, so we're coming down nicely. We'll be picking up the glide slope at some point. We are still struggling with that 210 speed constraint ever so slightly. So what we're going to go and do now is just add a little bit of drag. We'll go flaps 1. I know we're nice and early. But we'll see the slaps come out. Excuse me. So essentially, there we are, nicely under the glide slope. Everything going smoothly at the moment. And we're at 12 knots. So long as we're below 220, that's fine. I'm going to reduce speed now to 190 because the speed constraints here, I believe, are 190 at 9, 210 at 12, and afterwards 160 until 4. So there we are, glide slope star. Initially, this go-around altitude is set to climb to 2,500. So I think given that we're just going to vector ourselves back in, not follow the standard missed approach, we'll leave our go-around altitude as 3,000 and fly ourselves directly back into Demev. I think the initial waypoint was, there you go, Demev, yeah. And now's where it might start getting a little bit tricky to slow down now that we're established on the glide and we're keeping that kind of rate of descent. So what we're going to do is, once we're a little bit closer, now that we're 9, we'll reduce our speed to 160 until 4. And that's going to prompt us shortly to our flaps 2.
2,500.
2,500 checked. We'll go flaps 2 just for that extra drag. And shortly be coming up on 5 DME. Okay, gear down. Arm the spoilers.
Runway bucketed by Echo Flight, easy
Lights on.
59 November Kilo.
Super 9515, wind 090 degrees 6 knots, and 06 clear.
06F, clear to land. Speedbird 9515.
Easy 9
Okay.
correction, Easy 59 November Kilo, welcome to Ibiza, taxi to stand 7.
Taxi
160
stand
till
7,
4.
easy 59 November Kilo.
We'll go manage speed, flaps 3. And flaps full. And we'll get back into the cockpit and have a look. Okay, so landing gear down, signs on, spoilers armed, flaps are full, ECAM landing memo, or ECAM memo landing no blue, with 1,000 feet above the ground, autopilot disconnect, my controls.
1,000.
Checked. Auto brake is obviously set to low. That crosswind just sort of blowing us around a little bit of right rudder just to try and avoid that. So we're all the way off to the right now and ending up a bit high, and not a particularly stable approach, but as long as we can get it sorted by 500.
500.
500, yeah, I'm happy. Stable approach. Just battling a moving wind, a tiny bit high. Just kind of that, try and keep that picture same. Just mindful that we do obviously need to get ourselves down because auto brake low. We can always override it, but it's best practice not to.
Minimum.
So here we go. Minimums continue. 3 white, 1 red.
100.
Checked.
Light slow.
Disregard.
30. 20. Retard.
Retard.
Retard. 5.
And we're down. Spoilers. Reverse max. Kind of all over the place here. Gently off the brakes and reverse to idle, and we'll just let it roll out, and we'll vacate here by Echo 3. Ground temperature is 27, so the flaps can be retracted to 0. And we'll take a left here.
Super 9515, welcome to Ibiza, taxi to stand 3, correction 295, call 2.
Stand 29 via Golf 2, any chance we can take a stand between 13 and 18 by any chance?
Super 9515, yes, of course, taxi to stand, your discretion.
Stand of our discretion, we'll take stand 1 for Speedbird 9515. Okie dokie, now we'll get all those lights off. And yeah, we did start the chrono, so that's fine. We're going to be taking a right into Golf 2 and then down to stand 1-4. At the 2-minute mark we'll start the APU. Here we are, nicely on the brakes to get into Gulf 2. Welcome to Ibiza.
To banana 515, I'm closing, please switch to Unicorn 122 decimate, thank you for flying, hope you have a nice day, bye-bye.
122 decimate, thanks very much, take care. Okie dokie, and we're going to be going left here, I believe. Although I want to say that actually we're the wrong side for stands 1-3. We should have carried on via Tango and entered that way. Yeah, parking's facing forwards. In that case, as initially requested, we'll take stand 2-9. Which is going to be a little bit further up here. We've reached our 3 minutes. So what we'll do is get the APU started. Engine 2 off. Yellow electric pump is on. And then we're carrying on here to stand 2-9. I believe is the one we selected. Parking 2-9 is going to be just up here on our right. 3-0 and then 2-9. We've made contact with the ground crew, that's fine. Overshot that a bit, taking our pictures. Keep it gently rolling. And stop. Nicely, perfectly done. We'll turn the engines engine off, APU bleed on, Y electric pump off. We've got M1 below 9, beacon off. Seatbelts off.
The boarding requested.
Parking brake off. Stop the run timer and aboard. Happy days.